Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. One of the most common questions I get is, why do boats and the sun disappear over the horizon? Well, this is due to human perspective. The boats nor the sun go over the horizon. They go into the horizon, moving beyond the limit of our vision and past the vanishing point. But the boats and the sun are brought back into view by using a telescope or a camera with a good zoom lens, therefore proving the boat nor the sun disappear over a body of curved water, but it disappears due to the law of perspective. Now at this point you can't see the boat with the naked eye, but once we zoom in with a telescope, well, the boat comes right back into view. It did not disappear over a curved body of water. Now let's pan back out to what we would call our regular vision, and here right about here you're going to be seeing your vanishing point. With the naked eye you can't see that far anymore, and the same thing here. You can't see the boat out on the ocean at all by the naked eye. But once we zoom in with a telescope, well, guess what? It even looks like we're going over a curved body of water. But that's all due to perspective, and there the boat is. It comes right back into view with plenty of ocean right behind it. Now let's pan back out, and once again, as you can see, about right here is your vanishing point for the human eye. You can't see the boat anymore, but the telescope brings it right back into view. Now the sun does the same thing. As you can see here, the sun is about 2/3 behind the horizon, but once we zoom in with the telescope, well, it pops right back over the ocean. And there it goes right back behind the horizon. Sorry for the blurriness, it's a little windy on this video actually, but as you can see, let's get it cleared up. And as we zoom back in, the sun pops right back over the ocean. It's not going over a body of curved water. It's all due to perspective, and once you understand that, you'll stop believing in this stuff. Now let's take a look at one more sunset. As you can see, it was over halfway behind the horizon. Now once we zoom in with a telescope, the full sun pops right back into view. Now let's zoom back out. Now there it is once again, almost setting behind the horizon. Okay, now let's talk about perspective. You see how these power lines, they come inward and they come down way up the end of the road, like they disappear behind the road, the horizon. Now let's look at these railroad tracks and see how they merge inward, and they seem as they disappear as the sky meets the ground way up ahead. Okay, now check this out. I have 2-inch wooden blocks, and I have measured and leveled these and lined them perfectly across the floor here. As you can see, they're all in perfect alignment and they're all level. Okay. Now let me get back down here to the very end, and I'm going to show you. See how they do the same thing that the power lines do? They stair step down and they come inward, even though they're all in a perfectly straight line and they're all the same size. Now check this out. The sun does the same thing. It comes inward and it goes downward, the same way the power lines and the railroad tracks do. Every time you watch it, this is the way that it was set, proving that it disappears due to perspective. Okay, now I've turned the lights out and I'm going to show you what the sun actually does. Now here it is up close. As you can see, it seems like it's what? According to the camera, a centimeter above the camera. Now watch as I move the flashlight perfectly down the white line. of wooden chips. It seems to get smaller. It goes inward, and eventually it would disappear over the horizon, which is about right there. And that's exactly what you see when you see this, what you think the sun is setting behind a curved ball. Now here is the sunrise. Now watch as it comes back. It comes back into view. The floor is perfectly flat. It didn't go over a curved floor. And here's another example. The line is tied perfectly even across the counter, and the bottles are sitting level on the countertop. Now let's look at it from the counterpoint view. It's simply due to perspective, just like a person walking away from you. As you can see here, the goalie and the bleachers are at ground level, but the human seems to be sinking down into the ground and disappearing the further he gets away from you. Now, watch as he turns around and comes back. He seems to get larger, and his whole body is coming back into view because he's coming back into your perspective. It's really, really simple. Now, the last thing I want to show you that sinks the global ship is called crepuscular sun rays. Now, as you can see here, the sun rays are coming out right here to the left at around a 7.2 degree angle. Now, right here in the middle, they're coming straight down. Now, when you get back over here to the right, they're coming back out at a 7.2 degree angle. Now, a little bit of calculation would show that a 7.2 degrees on each side coming up to a perfect triangle puts the sun at about 4,000 miles up into the sky. Now I'm going to prove that to you really, really quick. Here I have a piece of cardboard that I have cut the edges out perfectly on the edge of this cardboard. Now, over here we have a flashlight, which we're going to use as our sun source. Now, let's go over here and turn the light out. Now, check this out. Notice that the shadow of the edges of the cardboard are parallel with each other. That would be 93 million miles away. They'd all be parallel with each other. Now, let's watch what happens to the shadows of these edges when I move them in close to the light source. Now, about right here is a 7.2 degree angle. Now, if you don't understand this, apparently you failed science and physics. This right here proves that the sun is only about 4,000 miles up in the air, just right above the clouds. That's the only possible way to get crepuscular sun rays. Anyways, thanks for watching, and God bless.